2 people on here so far. That's okay. Now, first of all, you guys have probably noticed that I haven't been uploading very much this week. One, that's because getting that 2nd gen Kindle Fire ready was time consuming. That was the first time I've successfully done a root on a mobile device and installed CyanogenMod. I've attempted that before. I successfully rooted it. When it got to the part where I had to flash the custom recovery, I bricked it. So, yeah, that's the first time I've done it successfully, and now I think I get a little more of an idea of what I'm doing. The thing I did wrong with the other one is I flashed a recovery that wasn't meant for the device that I was rooting. Because I was so used to computers like this one, where all you got to do is get something that works with your processor. i386, AMD 64, ARM 32, ARM 64, whatever. Like, you just have to get something that works for its processor. And there you go. So, with phones, it has to be designed specifically for your device, and I didn't know that yet. Luckily, with the Kindle Fire, I did know that, and everything was good. And for those of you who like that video, I am planning on doing another one. I have a really old LG Optimus S LS670. Remember that looking back on Android 2.3 Gingerbread video that I did? The phone I used in that video, I feel like I'm going to give it a whirl, try to root that thing, put Twerp or Clockwork Mod on it or whatever, and see if I can get it running Android 4.0. Going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm going to try, and hopefully I'll do it. If I get it right, I'll post it in the video, and if it doesn't work, it's an old, useless Android phone anyway, and not really much of a loss, but I'll tell you in the next week's live stream. Hopefully, I can get it right, and we can do it the right way this time. Alright, so I see we got a little more people on here. Windows 10 Green Edition. Hello. It seems he's been waiting in the chat for a while. Hello, other people. So, as you may or may not have heard, today is October 10th. And the release date for Ubuntu 20.10 is Ubuntu's not a month, is October 22nd is the release date of the next version of Ubuntu. So, if I'll go ahead and show you my screen here. Let's move that out of the way. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, that makes much more sense. Sorry. I almost forgot how to use OBS Studio for a minute. Okay. Ubuntu 20.10 release date. I just looked it up on the web. And, well, I guess this is on OMG Ubuntu. But it says October 22nd on here. Let me see if I can get it from alright, currently release, the current release in development is Ubuntu 20.10 Groovy Gorilla. Alright. Groovy Gorilla. Now let's see if we can get a release date. The release schedules. So on October. Oh, okay. So the beta is already out, is what it seems like. So I might review the beta version. And then on October 22nd, there we got final release. So that's the plan, and I did not see that the beta came out on October 1st, but the day Ubuntu 20.10 comes out, I will try to be the first one to review it, but I do not know how well that's going to turn out. So we'll switch back to the camera. Windows 10 Green Edition. I can tell by the name that, well, at least I think I can tell by the name that you like Windows. And he says the systems I use are Windows 10, Windows 8.1. I've never really used Windows 8.1, so I don't know how that is. Windows 7, I've used that before. It's pretty good. And XP. Yeah, XP's the best, in my opinion. Fastest. And yeah, I mean, I only used it, I installed it on one of my computers while I was redoing them, and I only used it for 30 days until it bugged me to activate it. And at that point, I'm like, well, never mind. I mean, it didn't do much. It is a 20-year-old operating system now, so I guess it didn't really do very much. I mean, compared to what I'm using on Linux right now. So, yeah. So we're getting ready for Ubuntu 20.10. And I do have another announcement. For the most part, the video schedule is changing a little bit. It's very hard for me to make a video every day, or even if I'm doing it all on Friday and Saturday, it's still very hard for me to schedule it and make enough to schedule. So we're going to have to dial it down a little bit. I'm going to do 3 videos a week with a live stream on Saturday. So I'll make 3 videos on Friday and Saturday, and I will schedule them for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday the next week. So that is going to be the new plan for video releases. We're going to try that out. Again, as I've mentioned in previous live streams, it has been quite an adjustment because of school and everything, keeping this channel up. I really love it, and I want to keep doing it. So, alright. Oh, by the way, we are almost at 500 subscribers, which is really crazy. So it's started in May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months of doing YouTube, and I'm already almost at 500 subscribers, which, for me, I think that's pretty cool. And let me just... 488 subscribers. That's exactly how many subscribers we have right now. And I gotta say, I'm pretty happy about that. 488. So we only have 12 more subscribers to go till we reach 500 subscribers. And I'm going to tell you now, I have a 500 subscribers special coming up. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of hint on what it's going to be. Even before I started doing this YouTube channel, I've been making a game. It's a video game on Scratch. I'm not the best coder. I'm not like a master coder, but I use Scratch. I've been making a platformer video game that I think will at least be beta by the time we hit 500 subscribers. It actually is in beta right now, and I don't know if I'll be able to get it to stable or not. I'm getting subscribers pretty quickly, so I don't know if that's going to be able to happen, but that's all I'm going to say. It's a video game. And once we hit 500 subscribers, I will let you guys play it. I will even let you contribute to it if you want. I love open source, as you can probably tell from this channel and most of the videos I make about it. So, as you can probably guess, I'm going to make my game open source. If you would like to contribute to it or fix any bugs to contribute to the stable version, feel free to do so. If you know anything about coding in Scratch, definitely feel free to do so. But I'll have it out for beta testing for our 500 subscribers special, and then after that I will let you know when it's stable. You'll see the game for our 500 subscribers special. That's all I'm saying, that it's a video game. It'll surprise you. Hopefully. Alright? And then Nolan, ASAP Used Meme, started his channel back up. And me and him have decided that we will do a gaming showdown. Him versus me. A gaming showdown on both of our channels. But the videos will be on both of our channels, but when he hits 100 subscribers, we'll do a gaming showdown. So, hopefully you guys, if you guys want to see that gaming showdown, definitely get that up there to 100 subscribers. ASAP Used Meme channel. I'll see if I can put a link to it in the chat. So yeah, that's the plan for when he reaches 100 subscribers. And that 500 subscriber special video game, it will probably still be in beta once we hit 500 subscribers. But when it does become stable, I will let you guys know, and then you can actually play it. So ASAP Used Meme, at least I've heard about this from ASAP Used Meme, that he is redoing his channel banner. It's currently in the works right now. I am also doing that. I've just been very, very lazy because I hate updating channel banners. It's so stressful. And I'm not a very good graphic designer, if you can tell from my thumbnails. And yeah, I kind of need a graphic designer. That would kind of be nice. But, I can do it myself. It's not too bad, is it? I mean, it's not like you're gonna barf. I mean, it's not that bad, is it? I mean, come on. So, yeah. So he's definitely working on getting his banner updated, and he claims that he will be doing videos once a week. So, yeah. Alright. Windows 10 Green Edition has subscribed to ASAP Used Meme. Thank you so much for your support, dude. That's awesome. Alright. Let me catch up with the chat here. Alright, I don't have an Xbox Live account, but I don't really want one. If you do, it's, at least on the 360, I think it's free. Although I signed up for it a couple years ago, but I think that it is still a free Xbox Live membership on the Xbox 360. Alright. Let's see. Windows 10 Green Edition. I test beta games. If you like testing beta games, then that game I have for a 500 subscriber special may be good for you. It is still in beta. There are two majorly obvious bugs that I still need to fix. And at least, I haven't discovered other bugs yet, but I at least need to get those two bugs fixed until we can release it as stable. Alright? Okay. There is always a need for self-improvement. Okay. So if you guys feel like bringing up a discussion in the chat or whatever, I'm open to suggestions. I don't always have much of a lineup for what I'm going to talk about in the live stream. Those are just a few channel announcements. So, yeah. So, oh yeah, also, by the way, we do, as you know, or maybe you don't know, we have merch available for purchase. We've got that up for a while, and we do make, here and there, we make a little bit of revenue from our merch. If you want to go get some, there's a link in the channel banner. It would definitely help us out. So all the merch money goes straight back to the channel. So anything you buy will directly benefit the channel. Whether it's a better whether it's equipment for a better video or a better camera or whatever, it will 100% benefit the channel. Alright? And anyway, as I was saying, so we do get revenue from merch, and we can use that to make fun projects using stuff like the Raspberry Pi or whatever in a video. So, have you guys, I don't know if I've said this in a while, but I am planning to build a Raspberry Pi PC with the Raspberry Pi 4 8 gigabytes and use that as one of my daily driver computers, such as my Studio XPS here. I have the hard drive for it. The Pi itself is on its way. So we've got that all figured out and in line. So I'm open to suggestions of what you guys think should be the next project that we do with our merch. And I have two ideas. And soon I'll make a Google form where you can either vote on one of those ideas. Alright? Idea number 1. A camera. Remember that Raspberry Pi, the 15 subscriber special video that I did? Oh man. Just looking back, when I had 15 subscribers, that seems like so long ago now, even though it's only been a couple months. But that Raspberry Pi is just sitting in my cupboard doing nothing. So I was thinking I could either get extra components to build it into a camera and use that camera for a new, the new camera for Just Plain Tech. It'll be better than the phone I'm using, and we'll use that to make videos. By the way, I am actually selling my phone so I can be able to do more projects on the channel, like the Pi camera. So hopefully that will all work out and we'll have a camera to use. Or I do still have other cameras that I can use besides my phone. So if we don't do the camera, that's fine. We can do another option. That is also using that old Raspberry Pi Zero, a Super Nintendo emulation system. Get it? SNES, but instead of Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo Emulation System. We'll basically turn it into an emulation station and put Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and other games on it, and turn it into a Super Nintendo, pretty much. So, if you guys want to do that, definitely feel free to vote. Hopefully by next live stream, I will have a Google form set up where you guys can actually vote on what project you want to do, whether it's the Raspberry Pi camera or the Raspberry Pi Super Nintendo. I think you guys are the heart of my channel. The audience, which is you, my community, you guys have kept me going. You're the heart of all this. So I figure if anyone should make the decisions for what we should spend the merch revenue on, it's you guys. And so I think I should give you guys that choice, because I honestly can't decide myself anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, there's that. Hopefully I'll get a Google form up by next week. So, if you guys have just anything to talk about, feel free to bring it up in the chat. And I know that at the beginning, when I started selling merch, the website was very unorganized and there were things all over the place and it just wasn't optimal. And I've tried my best to fix that up. I've tried to make it much simpler for you guys to navigate. But if you guys still have any recommendations for a better layout, or better yet, some merch that I should sell that I'm not actually selling at the moment, feel free to let me know. Definitely. Because I would love to hear from you guys on what you think about it. Okay, so let's see. Some of you said 61 subscribers. Nice. 5 subscribers. Alright. Alright, let's see. So, I want to know this. What have you guys been doing with your Linux computers? Well, actually, I'd like to know how many of you use Linux. If you use Linux, put hashtag Linux in the chat or something like that. And if you are using Linux, then feel free to tell me if you have any problems or whatever, what you're doing with Linux right now, if you're doing anything with it, or if you're just using it as your daily driver like you normally do, or if you're thinking of switching to it, or whatever. Feel free to tell me about that. If you don't use Linux, but you're an enthusiast with Android or video game consoles, or even Windows for that matter, or any other technology, feel free to let me know in the comments, and let's see if you can get a conversation going. Alright, someone says hashtag Linux. I've been working in Windows. I only use Windows. Alright. I have a question. For those of you who use Windows or Mac, have you ever tried out Linux on a live USB or any way like that? Alright, we got another question. How many consoles do you have? 2. I personally own 2. The 3DS, I bought this for $95 at GameStop. And then I have an Xbox 360 that I got for $60 at Bookman's. So, yeah. I have 2 video game consoles, but Xbox 360 isn't currently hooked up right now because this video game computer room has been going through a bit of remodeling, and right now he's still can't get the 360 hooked up yet. So, alright. Same person that asked me that question says they have 4 video game consoles. That's a lot. 4 video game consoles. I have been thinking of getting a Nintendo 64, and that option is actually available, but I don't know about that. Alright, see, we've got a few more people. I have 2 consoles. Oh, 2 Wii consoles. A Wii and a Wii U and the Xbox 360. That's cool. Alright, someone says, what is your favorite window manager? Now, do you mean window manager like window manager or desktop environment? Because there are 2 different things. I did make a video on that, by the way. They are 2 different things. So you don't necessarily... Well, if you know what you're talking about, then that's great. But a desktop environment, for example, would be GNOME, KDE, XFCE, LXDE, whereas a window manager would be like Ice Window Manager or Joe's Window Manager or Fluxbox or OpenBox or something like that. Alright. So, anyway, with that being said, who asked... Where was that? Sure, now I can't find it. Oh, yeah. Sorry, what's your favorite window manager? Ugh. I gotta say, my favorite window manager would probably be Ice Window Manager. That's probably my favorite. It's kind of got like a Windows 95, Windows 2000-ish style, and I kind of like it. It's pretty cool. So, all of the operating systems that I use have a desktop environment. I guess Ubuntu uses OpenBox and LXDE, but I don't currently use Ice Window Manager, but that is my favorite operating system. Okay, somebody's asking, who's the other guy with the pink hair? That would be Nolan. Nolan is the other dude with the pink hair. He actually started his channel back up, and right now he has like 31 subscribers. But if we can get him up to 100 subscribers, him and I will do a gaming showdown. Carson versus Nolan gaming showdown. So yeah, that's the plan. Alright, someone says, I have a white Wii and a black Wii. Which Wii do you think is used the most? I'm just gonna guess the white Wii. Just take a random guess. Alright, what is your favorite movie editor? Because I use Windows Live Movie Maker, and that's trash. Yeah, Windows Movie Maker is pretty trash. I don't use Windows now, but I used to use Windows Vista. Yeah, Vista. But I did used to use that, and I originally tried to make my YouTube videos with Windows Vista. No. Alright. I don't really like Sorry. I don't really like Windows Movie Maker. I do use Pitivi. That's the one I use. I actually did a video on how I edit my videos. But I use Pitivi as a video editor. I use it on Linux. It's a pretty cross distro thing, and that's what I use. Who is Nolan and why does he dye his hair? Nolan is ASAP used meme, and I do not know why he dyed his hair. I don't know. You can ask him. Alright, let's see. I don't use the white Wii because when I put a disc inside the white Wii, it sounds like a chainsaw. Oh, yeah. You know what sounds like a chainsaw? The original Xbox. I don't know how many of you guys have been subscribing to me for this long, but a while ago, I got an old, broken, modded original Xbox out from a cabinet or whatever, and attempted to fix it, and surprisingly it worked. I'm just gonna tell you, I had no idea what I was doing. I'm more into computer hardware. I had no idea what I was doing. I just saw a switch on a little card that said AMD, and I'm like, I think I'll flick that switch, and it happened to work. So yeah, anyway, that Xbox does sound like a chainsaw. Even if it doesn't have a disc in it, the fans are so loud. Very, very loud. So yeah. But your black Wii, on the other hand, sounds perfect. Alright. That's good for you. I don't have a white Wii or a black Wii. We have a blue Wii. The limited edition bluish greenish Wii. Yeah. That's what we have. Do you encourage others to use Linux in person? Yeah, a little bit. There are some people who like know that I'm kind of into computers. Sometimes they'll say they have a problem with their computer, or they'll ask me about it. And whether I knew how to solve the problem or not, sometimes I would fix the problem, but usually I would say, just switch to Linux. It's better and you're not going to have this problem all the time. If you switch to Linux, you'll be much more likely to, have a usable computer. So yes, sometimes I do encourage others to use Linux in person. I mean, obviously, if you use Windows, I'm not going to hate you. I hate Windows, but that doesn't mean I hate people that use Windows. I don't care. I normally don't really care which operating system you use, but I would recommend using Linux. Alright? So yes, I kind of do. Let's see. Please help. Can I download and play games on the Xbox 360 using Horizon and my console doesn't have the JTAG? I don't know. I'm not much of a console expert. I haven't modded any consoles. My dad actually modded that Xbox, so I've never modded any video game consoles. So I don't know how to help you there. I'm sorry. Is your family, friends, or people around you listen and switch to Linux? That's not how you spell Linux. It's. Sorry, you need to spell it the right way. Linux. That's how you spell Linux. Alright, there we go. Thanks, Alex says, thanks for getting me into Slackware. No problem, man. It's a great operating system. Windows equals a universal black door. Okay, not sure what that means. Hello, have you ever considered trying out a BSD? I have considered it. I've thought about it, although I've heard of FreeBSD and OpenBSD, although I've never actually ended up trying them out. I may do that sometime, but that's not really on top of my list right now. But if you want me to do it, I may be able to try out FreeBSD or OpenBSD or whatever. Sometimes when I put Minecraft in my Xbox 360, it says play DVD. So I have to take out the disc and put it back in my 360 and then it will work. That's kind of funny. A lot of consoles have disc problems. The original Xbox will only open the disc if you spam the open disc button right when you turn on the Xbox. It used to not open at all. My dad did upgrade the DVD drive so it can actually read DVDs and even writable discs now, so that Xbox can play DVDs and CDs and whatnot. But yeah, if it used to not open at all, you'd have to it would never open at all. But now if you just spam it right when you turn on the Xbox, it's probably going to open. So yeah, but there are so many consoles that have disc problems. Alright. Wow, I should dual boot Linux with my Windows 8.1 and Windows 7. I would recommend that. That is how I did it at the beginning. I didn't really know how to dual boot. I mean, it's so simple. You just click install alongside on most Linux distributions. But I actually had Windows running on one computer and Linux running on another computer with Chrome running on another computer. So while I kind of made that transition over to Linux, I was still using Windows, and then I had a computer with Linux, and it got to the point where I just never used Windows. And then recently it also got to the point where I never used Chrome OS. And I just got rid of them and replaced them with Linux or a dual boot. Are you going to make your own console or video game? Scratch, perhaps. So, you probably weren't here earlier in the live stream, but I did announce that I do have a video game that will be released for beta testing for our 500 subscribers special. All I'm going to say is that it's a video game that I coded on Scratch, and I'll release it once we hit 500 subscribers. It will be beta. You guys can play it. If you feel the want to, you can even contribute to the game. It is open source, so you can contribute to it if you feel like it and help us on the journey to the stable version of the game. What's your thoughts on ThinkPad laptops? I have a X200T and an L430. ThinkPads. Lenovo ThinkPad. So I don't have very much experience with that, but I did go to a school where they used 2-in-1 convertible Lenovo ThinkPads. Ran Windows so slow. I hated them. And they would freeze when you log into the desktop, and you'd have to restart them all the time. It literally got to the point where I installed Linux on this thing, and I ended up taking the Acer Aspire 1 to school, and I used that instead. It was so much faster, believe me. This thing was a lot lower spec than those Lenovo's, but it was running faster just because it had Linux. Switch. Alright. A universal backdoor is what enables Microsoft or the government to execute any malicious code on your computer, including keystroke logging, hard drive scanning, packet sniffing, etc. Good to know. That's another thing I like about Linux. Privacy. It's great. Alright, what is Scratch? Now, Scratch is a free block coding, kind of like code.org, but more advanced, where you do code everything from scratch. Well, that's why it's called Scratch, but you code it all yourself. It just has a graphical environment like drag and drop blocks and a graphical paint editor where you can, to make it easier to actually code it. You still do it all yourself, but it's just much more user-friendly environment. It's basically a front end for Python, pretty much. Alright. I am new here, so do you know anything? Do I know anything? Oh, do I know any programming languages? I know Scratch. I'm pretty good with Scratch. And I do know a few Python commands. Well, actually, one Python command, and it's the print command. Print, then whatever you want it to display on the screen in quotation marks. That's all I know with Python. So yeah, I have very little experience with Python. How do you get to Scratch? Okay, to get to Scratch, you go into a web browser. I'll just show you now. Go to a web browser and type in scratch.mit.edu. And there you go. And you can code in Scratch. So, yeah, that's how you get to Scratch. Scratch.mit.edu. Have you ever played Geometry Dash? Of course I've played Geometry Dash. It is a pretty fun game. It's one of my favorite mobile games. That and Sonic are my favorite games that you can play on a mobile device. I like Geometry Dash, and it is pretty fun. I have been playing it on the second gen Kindle Fire that I installed Cyanogen mod. It is a pretty fun game. I do like it. We do have the full version for it even. Why do you use Ubuntu and no Windows? Good question. Ubuntu's faster, easier to install apps, runs on lower spec computers, more privacy, more secure. 5 reasons right there why I would prefer to use Ubuntu or any other Linux distribution over Windows. Alright. I'm going to use Ubuntu today. Good for you. Highly recommend it. Do try it out. Alright. So. Alright, so I see we've got a few more viewers on our live stream now. Like how you guys are engaged in the chat. All of you guys have been pretty good with this. Just want to remind you, in the chat, on live streams, and on comments in videos, make sure to keep good language. We don't want any cussing or anything. I try to keep good language, and I hope you guys do too. So just make sure to keep clean language in the comments and in chats on live stream. Ubuntu is great. I have it on everything I use. Alright. I can get everything set up in around 30 minutes, including the actual install. That is another thing I love. Windows takes hours to install. Linux, you can get that done in 20 minutes, even on an old computer. Great. I love it. Especially how simple and easy it is to install. My Windows laptop is faster than Ubuntu. I highly doubt that. Well, actually, it doesn't let me subscribe to you. Might want to try signing into your Google account to be able to subscribe. Anyway, my Windows laptop is faster than Ubuntu. It depends. Are you running it from a live USB or a live CD? Because if so, it will be about twice as fast when you're running it from your hard drive. Because your hard drive is almost definitely much faster than a USB drive or a CD would be. And especially if you're running it in VirtualBox or something like that, then of course Windows is going to be faster. But if you're running the actual Ubuntu, it will be much faster than Windows. Alright. I am using Fedora and Rat Poison. I want to say you meant to type in Raspbian. I'm using Fedora and Raspbian Window Manager. Pretty happy about it. Good for you, man. My Windows 8.1 install took 20 minutes to install because my whole laptop is so fast. That's pretty cool. But the thing I like about, like, even on this thing, the Acer Aspire 1 ZG5, the king of old low-spec computers, takes like 20 minutes to install on here, and it's not a very powerful computer. You can trust me when I say that. It is. I do like how it installs so fast. What is Ubuntu? Ubuntu is one of the most popular Linux distributions. I definitely recommend it for beginners. It's created by Canonical. It means something in some other African language. Let me see if I can find what it means. What does Ubuntu mean? Yeah, okay, never mind. So, I thought it meant something. So, yeah, it is probably the best Linux distribution for beginners. That's what I started out using. Great Linux distribution. I'm using the latest version of it right now. And yeah, I do love it. Oh, okay, so you said, if I'm correct, Rat Poison is a tiling window manager. I've never heard of Rat Poison, but if that's actually what you meant to type in, then cool. Alright, I have a 3-year-old laptop and want to install Ubuntu on it, but it has no option to boot from USB. If it doesn't have an option to boot from USB, it almost definitely has to have a CD-ROM drive. Like, this thing can boot from USB, but it doesn't have a CD-ROM drive, you know, because it's the size of a CD-ROM drive. But if your computer has a CD-ROM or an optical disk drive, you should be able to boot from that. So you can use a software, Rufus or Etcher or whatever, to put Ubuntu on a CD and install it through that live CD. You should still be able to do that even if your computer doesn't support USB. Alright. Let's see. Ubuntu. Zulu pronunciation. Ubuntu is... Okay, there we go. Thank you so much, Alex. Ubuntu is a word meaning humanity. So, if you're human, Ubuntu is humanity. Not Windows, Ubuntu. Thank you so much for putting that. Alright. I may not install Ubuntu on my laptop because my laptop is Ubuntu speed. Alright, that's up to you, but it's not all about the speed. Ubuntu also has a much easier way to install software, such as the Ubuntu Software Center. And, yeah, a much easier way to install software. You can type in sudo apt-get install package name or whatever, but it's so much easier to install Ubuntu. Alright, so... And Ubuntu is more secure than Windows. You also get more privacy on Ubuntu. So even though your laptop is speedy with Windows, which is rare, I would still recommend using Ubuntu. But if you want to use Windows, that's up to you. Fine by me. Alright. So, I think we're getting ready to about close out this live stream here. If anybody has something to say real quickly, anyone has something else to bring up before we close out the live stream, feel free. But we're about to close out. So, is it possible to install the Ubuntu Software Center on other Ubuntu-based distros that don't come with it? Yes. Ubuntu software is pretty much GNOME software. So, in a terminal, you can type in sudo apt-get install GNOME software, and it will be called software, but it's the same thing as the Ubuntu Software Center. So, yes, you can do it. Alright, so I'd like to thank you all for coming on this live stream. We'll be live next week. And thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.